Oh yeah, Tim. It's we're back, bitch. Dad meat Patreon. Tim, those beers are on the third shelf in the fridge. Back with Mike Feeney.
Hey, I got my knife. I got it. Like I started saying this last episode. No one has ever given me a knife to hold during a podcast, and while I thought it was, oh, the mic was off again. No one has ever given me a knife on a podcast to hold, and while initially I was like, oh, that's a fun little gimmicky thing to do.
It feels good.
It feels great to like hold and just kind of like fuck with and play. I was like scraping it against my pants at one point. It was very and this grip on this is so satisfying, the way it rests on your hand like this.
Yeah, those are legit
What is
knives.
this?
That's made by a guy, Jacob Amon, who has a business. It's called Amon Forge, and he makes his own knives, and they're all incredible quality. But dude, initially the knife thing started when we were doing Zoom. I just get fidgety, and I like having something to hold.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But then the more that we did this, and we got these nice knives and like this fucking cool thing, it just feels fucking good to hold. I do it at the bank.
Yeah, knives. I never got into knives really. The closest I got was like a fucking Swiss Army knife. I never had knife friends. You know?
Well, now you do.
Now I do.
Welcome to the club.
Hell yeah, dude.
What the hell?
What?
It says Patreon deleted our post. Oh no, it's there. It is. Okay, cool.
All right, good baby.
Are you seeing us, people?
Sorry, I'm producing. I'm producing at the same time. Sorry, guys.
I was just about to tell him you died of COVID too.
Yeah.
He's wearing many hats, but this one is blue.
Yeah. Wow, this has been a really nice day. You should have came down earlier.
I know. I really was like,
You want to sleep over?
I was planning on waking up way earlier, and then it was one of those. You never had those nights where you're like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed now, and then you blink and it's like 2:30, and you're like, well, there goes everything tomorrow, you know. And then late start, but I also had to wait. I had to wait rush hour traffic out. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. That could have ruined the day.
Yeah, I had nothing on the way down. I'll hit nothing on the way back. This drive to Philly is a breeze. I'd rather drive here than to fucking Connecticut to New Haven, which is like probably the same amount of miles, but could take 3 times as long.
It is a bummer. I think, when people say, how was the drive? How's the drive over? I do think that's a valuable question, because sometimes when you get there and you were in the car for like 2 hours and 14 minutes and you weren't moving for a long time, and you're like, how was the drive? And you're just like, it was whatever, dude. Like, I'd like to know if someone's coming from that energy so that I could start down there and bring them up, as opposed to be like, bro, what's going on? It's just like, give me a minute, dude. I gotta fucking unwind. I was just sitting in the car with my farts the whole time.
Dude, I just drove back on Sunday from Long Island from it was my cousin's communion. 20 miles from door to door. Over 2 hours it took to go over 20 to go 20 miles. It was like, and it was pouring rain, and it was just painfully bumper to bumper slow, where I'm like, you couldn't even, there wasn't even, it was like one of those things where it was so jammed in between exits where you're like, even if I wanted to pull off the road, there was no shoulder just to be like, get me out of this fucking car for a few minutes, and just it's crazy, dude.
I'd rather be walking the whole time.
Yeah, dude. Long Island traffic is some of the worst, because they started making it in like the early 1900s, and they only completed it in like the 50s or 60s, and by that time they didn't account for like population inflation, so it's like 3-lane highways, and you're like, it's already not enough, and now the only way to fix it, because they're landlocked, is to build another highway over the current highway, like a second elevated highway. But that's going to take like 30 to 40 years if they did it now, and they haven't even started. And you're like, dude, this and the population's still growing, because everybody in Long Island used to have like one car for the whole family. Now there's like 4 or 5 cars a household. And you go, this is only going to get so much worse in the next 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, we've been getting promised like a nice public park over 95 in Philly. So like when you kind of go under the city in 95, or like, between the river and the city in 95, they were supposed to have like a nice like beautiful lush public park built over it, and it's never going to happen. Number one, they're trying to get rid of cars in cities.
Yeah.
Do you know about this?
Of New York City, I mean, they took away one full side of the parking for New York City and made it bike lanes. Then they also reduced the speed limit from 30 to 25 miles an hour. So now they were like, that way it'll stop people from driving, but there's still as many people drive. So all there is now is more cars driving slower, looking for parking that doesn't exist because there's half the amount of parking spots. So all it is causing more congestion and clogging. And
you know what's so funny is like, because like do you know any like local government heads? Do you know any people that are like very involved in like civic governments?
No, I did a podcast recently with a guy who's running for like office in like the lower part of Manhattan, who was like advocating for like more bike lanes, and I was like, fuck that, dude.
It's so fucking fun. You guys also have like a robust train system, but like I wonder if this applies to like other cities as well. But like Philadelphia's like a D-level city, probably, I would guess. And I see people that are so fired up about how like our problem is cars. That's
from
our
a civil
main
engineering
problem.
standpoint.
From I don't know what you would call it, but like they want only policies that reduce cars and get people on bikes and public transportation. And it's like, dude, have you been on public transportation? I'm betting this isn't just Philly. If this is just Philly, I'm sorry. Just deal with me griping for a minute. But I know Uncle Ron he was on Twitter, popped off about this as well. But it's like, dude, to get to public transportation in Philly right now, you're walking through a heroin village, right? You get there, our public transportation it's almost like cardboard cutouts with like a guy pretending to drive the bus. It's so fucking bad. And then you get on there and it's half piss people, half people eating like fork and knife meals that are very smelly.
Yeah.
And then a fight breaks out. And it's like, yeah, dude, just take public transportation. Don't own a car. You know what? If it's such a problem that you need a car, why don't you move closer to work? Why don't you pay $3,600 a month to get an apartment that's closer to work?
And there's significant propaganda out there now, to your point. I don't know if you've seen the new trailer for the new Cars movie. It's actually Holocaust themed.
What? Why? You knew before he even did it. You distracted me from his thing.
It's Holocaust themed. What any new types of cars in there? Any new characters they're introducing?
I don't know.
Or is it just the normal cars in the Holocaust?
It's Toe Mater's cousin, Adolf Mater, is running the whole
Madoff Hitler. Whoo, we gotta get some of these Jews on this train.
Lightning McSteen. It's fucked up, man. I'm telling you. It's flat out propaganda, and I don't want to watch it.
You ever been trying to get some Jews on a train and you crack your back shit in your pants? Yeah, it sounds like a great movie, dude. Can't wait to check it out.
It's coming, man. Get ready.
Is it still Owen Wilson doing Lightning McSteen?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not so sure that these are showers, but
all right.
It's such a strange. It's such a strange thing because everyone always
Train
cites
cars. All right.
They always cite like Norway and Amsterdam as like.
Yeah, there's like 75 people alive in Norway.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I was in Amsterdam, everyone takes like buses. It takes like bicycles or like a trolley or something. Dude, I almost got fucking
motorized sweaters
lit up. Dude, I almost got lit up like 100 different times by a bicyclist who would fly at like 100 miles an hour. You like step off the curb and it's like it feels like, you know, like the New York City bike messengers that are going like 100. It's everywhere. Like you're literally like you're just dodging bicyclists at all times.
And they're all 6'3".
Yes.
and beautiful.
And beautiful.
Are they apologetic
So
when that happens, though, Mike?
When they hit you? No.
When they come close to
No,
hitting
no.
you.
It's a you should be out. They have bicyclist
Get
personality.
rid of pedestrians. We got to get rid of pedestrians in cities, dude.
Bicyclist
no more.
personalities are the fucking worst. They're like, we're share the road, assholes. And then it's like, okay, but how come you still go through red lights and make turns on red? Are you a car or are you not a car? Because you either and then when they drive the wrong way up a one-way street because they're like, we're a bicycle, we can go wherever we want. It's like, well, then I will run you down and feel nothing.
It is so funny that, like, I mean, everyone agrees. It's unanimous. But, like, bicycle people are so obnoxious that you could witness one barely survive, like, a life-altering accident. And as they're laying on the ground with, like, a leg backwards, you're like, that's what you get, you fucking dickhead. You know what I mean? There's no sympathy
They're always
whatsoever.
blasting music, too.
You guys would love Rob Ford, R.I.P. Rob Ford, King of Toronto.
Why?
He hated bicyclists, and when there was when it was proposed in city council to allot some of the money that they had budgeted for a given year toward creating more bike lanes, he was totally against it, and he said that cities are made for cars, and that anytime a bicyclist gets hit, he deserves it.
Ooh.
Oh. I mean, deserves is a fun, strong thing. But I do.
Whenever you see a cyclist get hit by a car, a mayor smokes his crack.
Yeah. I do have a resentment towards like a lot of bicyclists, though, or because when I'm driving in New York City, a lot of local New York City ads, they promote this Vision Zero initiative, which is supposed to basically getting down to like 0 cars, and they always talk about like all the people that get hit by cars, or like a lot of them are when you're making a left turn, so you need to look twice before you make a left turn, and that way you won't hit somebody. And you're like, have you ever driven in New York City? Do you think that people are obeying the crosswalk? It's like people jut out in between cars. It's like people don't realize if it's like, oh, well, pedestrians have the right of way. It's like, actually, the 5,000-pound piece of scrap metal screaming down the road has the right of way, whether legally or not. Dude, you will lose.
I always feel like a dickhead when I'm walking with people in New York and I stand there at a red light and I realize everyone else kept walking. I'm just like, oh, man, I better pretend.
I've never once looked for a crosswalk.
Like
you just look for car. No, I never. We got that when we were in Houston at the fucking at Skankfest. They were like giving us shit for jaywalking. They were like, what do you do? And we're like, dude, it's 2 a.m. There's no cars for hundreds. Like,
not to mention it's a dead part of town.
Yeah.
There's no one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bothers me, man.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, if we get rid of cars and force people to rely on like dangerous, unsafe, unreliable public transportation, I'm sure they'll fix that part after we get rid of the cars. And then, I think this is like somehow supposed to also cure racism at some point. I think if you listen to the plan for long enough, and I'm just not for it, man. I'm gonna get Second Amendment about cars. I'm gonna say, take my car from my cold dead wife.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I love driving into the city for spots at night because the city is actually one of the easiest cities to park in after 7 p.m. and before like 6 a.m. There's free spots galore. I never have a problem parking. I never have to pay for parking. Before that, during the day, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., it's the worst place on earth. But
it's competitive.
There's a lot of no standing, commercial only. If you do put it in a meter, it's like $11 an hour. Garages are $50. It's a full nightmare during the day. Traffic. But at night, you're like, dude, I can fucking park right in here. Not a problem at all. And I'd rather it take me an hour to get into the city. And like, even if it's equal to taking the subway, I'd rather it take longer to drive in where I have my car, I have climate control, I have privacy, I can listen to things, I can make phone calls, I can got tunes.
You're jamming, baby.
And then because when I'm done with spots for the night, I'm fucking done. Like the second I get off stage on my last spot, I go, I want to be home. I want to be home right now.
Up on stage.
And I have no energy left. The last thing I want to do is wait for a subway, then transfer subways, wait for that subway, have a homeless person screaming.
Defend my life.
Be in fight or flight mode for an hour and 35 minutes. It's like, I'll get home in 15 minutes. It's crazy. There's no traffic at night in New York City. So
yeah, so that's the long and short of it, dude. You want to get rid of cars?
Start this campaign.
Why don't I get rid of you?
Yeah.
Fight us, is what I would say.
Nice try. We got knives.
Yeah, take that.
Do you think it's reasonable that having more cyclists will get rid of racism, or do you think a car tide will continue?
Car tide, dude.
How do you come up with these?
Retarded.
Here's the thing: is actually he'll write down these nonsense words before we start podcasting, and then he'll
work
steer
them
the
in.
conversation. Because that's what I'll go home sometimes tripped out, like, whoa, dude, did I actually get to choose any of my own thoughts tonight, or was I on just Mike's fucking retard cattle shoot the whole time? Just getting zapped in my ass until I get him to say, fucking Cars 2 Electric Jugaloo or something.
VW Botha.
VW Bofa? Like Bofa D's nuts?
No, never mind.
And then sometimes he goes off the rails and it's like, all right, man, chill.
All right, I'll chill now.
Put a fucking ice pack on your neck or something. Put a foil blanket
Put
around
one on my brain.
You got a good neck. You got a thick neck.
Thank you, Mike.
You got a strong neck.
I've been doing a lot of wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Did you ever do those things where you put the weight on your head and you
No. That would be too much for me because I'm trying to be more considerate of my neck.
Mike does it forwards for sucking dick.
Yeah. I suck dick under a weighted blanket.
Try to be bad because you're only a man and a man.
Damn.
I think I'm going to get some pussy tonight.
I know. You showed me the text. Mike showed me a
Yeah.
sext from his wife.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a real
You guys have a high
pig
sex
lady.
drive, huh?
Yeah, we get it in, buddy.
And you have 3 kids?
Yeah.
Wow.
We did have 4. I'm teasing.
I was about to excuse myself and just go to the bathroom to rinse my face off. Dude, how old are your kids?
My oldest will be 19 in a couple weeks.
Wow.
My middle is 15, and my son is 11.
That's the 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Right.
gaming, bro.
How soundproof are these doors? Not enough.
Not
Enough.
at all.
Like,
Not at all.
Enough.
know
You
what'd be
say
funny?
not at all. You say enough.
Dude, you know what'd be funny is we'll be like screaming. We'll be acting out like, dude, look, guess how powerful I would be if I was in gay porn. And then we'll be screaming, acting it out. And then as soon as there's a quiet moment, you'll be able to hear, like, you know how there's like when a fridge opens? You'll be able to hear that on the other side of the wall. It's like, oh, fuck, dude, this is all.
So he heard the whole OnlyFans
This is-
conversation,
he
probably.
heard every single word, dude. And then what and I bring my son over to hang out sometimes, and what they do is they'll find an excuse to be right by on the other side of this fake
Oh,
stained glass door.
no.
It's not real stained glass, by the way. That's
No.
regular. That's
It's cum
basically
The
stained
church
glass.
didn't make that?
that's plastic wrap.
It's plastic wrap.
And they stand on the other side, and you open the door, and they're like, "Well, we were looking for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Got
found
it. Yeah.
we're good."
That's incredible. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that leads more to the openness, though, you know? No shame,
Yeah.
no secrets.
You know what? I feel as though I've made a lot of compromises in this relationship.
Mike's a real open magazine.
With
Yeah,
sticky
y-
pages.
Yeah.
Dude, when I would go searching through my dad's porn, he would come into his magazines.
I don't understand.
I don't either. It's like, dude, just
There's no replay value.
That's
there.
No.
that's the man's version of sealed with a kiss.
Yeah.
it's like eating dinner and then smashing your plates.
That actually sounds awesome. That would be a cool restaurant if you had a bunch of like, not prop furniture, but it was built this way. So you went in, you ate, right? All of your dinnerware, the table itself, the chairs, it was all designed for you to finish up and then just like take your napkin off and then stand up and just smash everything.
Well, it's
And
almost like a rage room. Which
yeah,
they,
but
which there
a
was
rage restaurant.
there's they have a bar in the rage room where when you're done drinking, you could just throw it against the wall.
Oh, that's fun.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you finish your drink and you're like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm
I
done
gotta
with
start
it.
drinking again.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you ever throw a full soda at a movie theater screen before?
I've never thrown anything at a movie theater screen before.
Mike?
No,
A full soda,
Mm-hmm.
which is a movie theater soda is like 64 ounces. You're basically throwing a cannonball, a wet
It's like a
cannonball.
world's strongest man
Yeah,
keg throw.
my wife did dump my soda everywhere when we went to go see Joker by accident.
I thought it was on purpose.
No,
What happened? Just knocked
she
it over.
tripped walking down the aisle, and she yelled my name because she was looking for me. She had all my snacks, and the
Was the
entire
movie already on?
it was, and the entire
Mike!
yeah, but it was like kind of like that quiet, like Mike, like one of those, and everybody in the theater turned around. And as she like takes a step down, she tripped and she spilled my shit everywhere.
And you just hear that whoosh, that
Yes.
wet
And the
rush,
ice-
that river that goes, that ice and soda river that everyone goes, oh fuck, and everyone picks their feet up.
Yeah, you gotta say Indian style the rest of the movie.
At least it's not a 2.5 hour movie we have to now hold our feet up for.
And she drew everyone's attention first.
Yeah, yeah, she's a real show woman.
I love
I just
that.
heard a child be murdered in your backyard.
Actually, I'm very proud of these kids because the last time we did a Dayish Time podcast, there were like 15 children out there screaming.
Whose kids are what?
They're
This is
everywhere.
another family.
Man. Yeah, they're everywhere. But next door is like the neighborhood meeting spot for all the kids, so they all chill in that yard and
Wow.
just scream.
Huh.
They're probably hearing some of this. They gotta be hearing these conversations.
That's fun though.
Could you imagine being a child and overhearing a podcast as cool as this?
Can you
one?
imagine? Can you imagine being a child and you're hearing a 41-year-old man describe OnlyFans content in such detail that you could hide outside of his window and beat off?
And we just look outside, kids scurrying. They're like, ah, they're on to us.
Yeah. Someone's coming on the side of the house. What the hell's this?
Yeah, it must be a raccoon.
Yeah. I don't remember putting all that caulk on the side of the.
Yeah. I can't imagine what it's gonna be like for our kids to find all this shit.
Do you guys ever? I mean, especially because now you guys have like older kids too. Do you think about the like the access they'll have to everything that you've done? Do you think they'll like? But also, everyone that I know that has like kids are like, my kids don't give a shit about my career.
Oh,
but
they think I'm the lamest guy.
They always,
Same, yeah.
they always think you're the lamest. But even like, I'm talking like when they're like 30 or like when you die, you know, they're gonna want a soul search. Like, you know what I mean,
Dude? To that point, when we first started doing this, a mutual friend of ours sent me a message saying like, "Hey, I just think this is a beautiful way for your kids to get to recognize who you are as people." Because I think like the first like 5 episodes of Dad Meat were pretty tame. It was basically us talking about our feelings.
They were not, dude. Episode 2 was La DuckTales. Remember that?
Never mind then.
We're doing Black DuckTales.
Oh, and Top Cunt.
Top Cunt, yeah.
But we did do a lot of like, you know, emotional shit too. And this guy sent me a message like, "Hey, it's so nice that your kids will have this to look back on." It's like kind of like an audio scrapbook. And I was like, "Ah, boy."
You know, it's a funny. I do feel that way about when Cannon and I did Irish Goodbye, because then it was like we would do a storytelling podcast. So it was literally just it quickly became from like, here's our best stories. You know, you burn through those in the first 6 episodes, and then it's just like, what happened this past week for you? You know, which is. I was telling Tim, like, we would take all these hell gigs, and so like that is kind of cool. There's like a 5-year period where like Mike's kids now growing up, if I have kids, like everyone's kid, they can go back and listen to be like, this is exactly where he was at for these 5 years. Like, and we were both like, when we started the podcast, Mike wasn't even married. Like, and then Mike had the kid, like Mike's wife got pregnant during the podcast. Mike had the kid. He told the story about being in the delivery room on the podcast. Like, it was like this whole, bless you. It was like this whole thing where you're like, man, it's a real time capsule of those 5 years of our lives. And both of us were not, like, we were middling and just became, like, we're maybe just starting to do headlining towards the end of it. So it was very,
that's cool.
It's very cool to think about, but also there's so much of it where you're like, oh, a lot of that's probably not aging well. You know, like,
no way, dude, because it's a real chronicle, and it's not just you guys like recapping what happened in pop culture.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's fucking sick.
Yeah, that's what's actually fun is like they're evergreen, you know, because you're like, here's our story. These are stories that are not like, yeah, this is what's going. This is what happened at the Grammys last night.
This is what I think that is the biggest problem in like comedy. And I'm not talking. I don't want to get into inside baseball, but I do want to say that like I'm constantly reminded I need to be like living a life.
Yes,
and I think that's the one thing that really turns me off about comedy is when I realize that someone's not living a life and they're just like either creating tiny problems for themselves to pretend that they're living a life, or they're not even doing that, and it's just like, well, I guess dating's pretty tricky. Maybe I could just complain about that until, you know, I give up.
That's why I love someone like, even like Ari is like, you know, he does well and he sells tickets and he's popular, and then he'll just go, I'm just going to go to Thailand for 2 months and I'll see you guys. And he'll be off the grid. He won't post from there. He's just like, and people are like, what are you, fucking crazy? Like, why would you run off the hamster wheel? Things are going great for you. You're selling tickets. And he's like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
That's the best.
This affords me the luxury to do that. And now I'm living a life, and now I can come back and talk about that, you know? And you're like, that's the way to do it. But everyone does this, like, the second they get anything, got to keep going. And you're like, dude, there is no substitute for life. You know, it's the greatest content you'll find.
And dude, like we were talking about this earlier, is like the people who are like, oh, I can't stand my fucking bitch wife. Like, oh man, I have
Hate
kids.
that.
That's so hard. And it's just like, damn,
the Catskill comedian from the 80s.
If you genuinely do not enjoy that, like, you might as well just fucking end it.
Yeah, but also just like imagine being like, I'm in a miserable relationship. I hate my wife. I can't stand I resent my kids. I blame them for my failures, even though I never had the ability to become what I wanted.
My journal?
Imagine doing that and then being like, people are gonna find this very funny. You know, it's like when I hear comics like that, I go, oh, that's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah. It was so, I mean, but it's so expected. Like that is the expectation. It's just like, dude, it's almost like there's no way it's funny if you enjoy having like a rich life, you know? So
sure.
I don't know. I'm very comfortable is the point I'm making. I'm very
You're
comfortable
probably
with where I'm
happier
going.
than comedians that are, I mean, I know for a fact that you're happier than certain comedians that are like selling theaters.
I make it a point to be, yeah.
Which is crazy because they all think that like once they get to that level, then they're gonna do, you know. But it's even like, you know, that insecurity.
Do you think most of them are aware? Like they reach, because here's something I'll share.
I don't think so, buddy.
Here's something I'll share. Every new level I get, I don't know how to describe it without sounding like pompous or like giving myself too much credit, but like every time I'm lucky enough to see a new level,
Growth.
right? Yeah, every time I reach a new like checkpoint in growth, I see something that horrifies me. And it's a lot of times it's hard to even like put into context or anything like that, but like watching a comic like kind of not have a reaction while they said that they had to like leave their family for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just matter of factly saying like, oh yeah, I had to leave them behind for a month. It was just like that like Twilight zoned me back. I was like,
Without the thing of like, and it kills me that I have to do that. But
Yeah.
instead being like, I get to leave them for me. You're like, ugh.
yeah, dude, that's like, whoa, maybe I should be an IT guy. You know?
Yeah. Or just make it what you want to make it. You know, like that's
well,
the
that's
best,
the answer.
That's the best part of it is like,
Yeah.
there is no fucking.
Well, in anything you do, this isn't just comedy, but in anything you do, when you look up to someone else that's doing it bigger than you already, you kind of you're hoping to recognize maybe a path. Like if you're looking at someone, you're like, wow, that guy's doing it big. I don't want to copy his success, but like I would like to know that I'm on a path that like resonates with what I'm all about. And so far, dude, we're kind of like we're reaching for the machetes, dude. It's almost time to start like cutting through the chaff, you know what I mean? So
Going back to like what you had asked Mike, like, do you think those guys realize that? Like, I don't think people that are constantly chasing the next there, I don't think they have that realization, because if you ever have that realization, I think your world would explode before your eyes, and you'd be like, all right, I have to stop everything I'm doing and start doing something meaningful. So I don't think they're having that realization, and I feel like,
or they're having it too late. They're like they're getting to that point where they're like, all right, now I'm selling out Madison Square Garden. Here I am. And then they go, like Steve Martin said in his book, he was like, the day I played Madison Square Garden, I think he was the first stand-up comedian ever to play Madison Square Garden. He's like, which is at the time was the biggest accomplishment a stand-up comedian ever made in terms of selling tickets. He was like, it was the loneliest day of my life. He's like, I went back to my hotel room. I was just alone. I was sad. And you're like, he was literally on like the top of Everest. Like selling out Madison Square Garden is like, you don't get, I mean, you know, it's like, I know Kevin Hart's doing like football arenas at this point, but you're like, that's not like Kevin Hart.
he's probably got a squad with him everywhere he goes, though.
Kevin Hart now. Yeah. He has,
I'm all about squad life.
Yeah. Squad life is fantastic.
so, and that's a huge part of this is like we were talking between shows about how, you know, so much of the fun in doing the shows that we've been going around doing is that like it's with our boys, you know, and it's like one of my fondest memories of recent memory is me, you, Danny Dubs, and your sister in Chicago throwing ice into Lake Michigan at ice.
Yeah.
It was something so fucking stupid that it only came about because like, okay, we have these things that we're shooting for. We're booking our own shows. We're going to do this, and it's going to be cool if we sell out or this and that. But the real joy just came in doing something so mundane as kind of like a side quest from that.
Yeah.
And that's where the joy in this comes from.
Yeah, we're just picking up the biggest chunks of ice we could find and throwing them in the frozen lake.
Were they cracking the
Oh my God.
Well,
dude.
some of them, but it had to be a pretty big chunk you were throwing, and you had to throw it really hard.
Yeah.
So you could see how you kind of like get
You had
something
to
going.
get into it.
Yeah,
There's nothing I'd rather do more.
And we were high
Dude.
as fuck, dude. Me and Danny accidentally ate 200 milligrams each.
Oof.
It was maybe the most gratifying activity of my entire life. I've had sex.
You just unlocked a memory for me where it was like Cannon, Sagalo, and I. God,
Which, by the way, that's a squad.
it's a good squad.
What a legendary hang we had at Skankfest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man.
Just core, as my buddy Greg Stone would say, it's a core memory that we unlocked together. You know, where it was like that night, that weekend will be like, you know, it's burned forever. But I forgot where we were, but we got high or maybe a little drunk or both. Cannon was like, I'm done, and Sagalo and I were kind of in the exploratory stoned phase. We're like, let's go out and go fucking do something. And I think we got some like beers, and we walked.
Cool.
We walked to like this overpass, and we're like underneath the overpass, and we fucking were just drinking our beers and then just fucking throwing the bottles at the wall of the underpass. You know what I mean? Like just like literally just throwing glass bottles, like just being shitheads. And it was so fun. You feel like you're a teenager again, where you're like, it makes that loud noise. You're like, oh, we gotta get out of here. Like it's just it's the lowest level of petty crime, you know. But it's
that is cool.
God, I'm trying to think where that was. Maybe we're in Rhode Island or something. It was a few years ago now at this point. But
you
that
guys clean up all the broken glass when you're done, probably.
I'll say we did.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the coolest part.
Yeah. I will say this now. There are fucking. It's so funny I said that because literally yesterday there were these dudes. They're like seamless web drivers. They have all those little like, you know, scooter. Seamless web is like Grubhub. It's just like a delivery service, but it's very popular in New York City. Everybody uses them. And they're on those little motorized scooters. And there's like a gang of the little scooter delivery guys that hang out under the bridge on my block, and they drink, which is fine. And I don't care. Drink there all night and play music, and they blast music. I don't give a shit. It's far away from my apartment, even though it's on the same block. But then they smash the bottles and they don't fucking clean up the glass. Whoa. And you're like, I got to walk my dog under this bridge, man. My dog literally got his pad sliced from a piece of glass.
Oh, no.
And now it became a whole thing. So it drives me crazy when people do it. But when I do it, it's okay. You know?
Did you tell your wife, like, I'm going to go say something? And then you stand at your door and you're
drinking
like,
with them.
Oh, they're about to get out of there. Next time they do this, I'm going to go say something.
Well, you can do things now. You can go on 311 and report like broken glass, and they'll like come clean it. Or you can like report loud people, and they'll kind of do like a sweep and all that stuff. But they've gotten into a bunch of dust ups with people in my neighborhood, like other neighbors who were like,
you have a scooter gang?
There's like a scooter
running
gang,
roughshod.
Yeah, they're not fucking around, and like they're just like kind of like indifferent, and they don't give a shit. And you're like, dude, if you have nowhere else to drink besides under a bridge, you know, life's not going great, and you can do it, but just take the bottles with you when you, or even just like put the bottles back in the case and leave the case there. Like that's fine. Even do that, like litter, but don't like. It's literally like, it's one thing to throw it against the side of the bridge or something where it would be off the beaten path. This is the middle of the sidewalk.
Throwing them into a dog park.
Yeah. Throwing them into my apartment, just shatter.
You want to go threaten them with guns?
I mean, that would be ideal, you know?
We should get some guns and go threaten them.
Did I ever tell you
that'd be great content.
The most embarrassing, like, tough guy thing I've ever done, which was like I was in like a simultaneous Slipknot / like Eminem phase. It was like a real, you know, I think I must have been like 16 maybe in high school, and there was this kid in my on my bus who was like the 14th string of the football team. So he just thought he was he was like a walk-on, but he thought he was like, I'm a football guy, so I can be tough. And he was
still
always
waiting for the jersey with my name on it.
Dude, like he's like the little mean kid from fucking A Christmas Story, the one who was always like, but then when he's on his own, he thinks he's like, you know, the tough guy, and he wasn't. So this kid would just be like fucking annoying. He didn't like physically bully me, but he was just annoying to me. And one time he got off the bus after like really like shitting on me on one bus ride one time, and I was getting so mad, and he left, and his friend came up and he was like, damn, like Andrew was really fucking damaging you, dude, you know, like really making fun. And I was like, I remember so specifically saying this because I was like, you know, school shootings were like very big back then, you know. Columbine was fresh in everyone's mind, and I remember being like, he's like, you can't even say, he said something to me like, you can't even say anything because this kid will like fuck you up. And I was like, yeah, man, it doesn't matter how strong you are, I just need one finger to pull a trigger. And then looked back out the window, and dude, the kid literally was like,
did you have your Slipknot mask on when you told him that?
Yeah, I had the dead clown mask on. I felt the hate rise up in me. Yeah, no. Dude, this dude literally backed away from me, and then like definitely the kid never. He must have told his friend. He's like, dude, no, don't do that kid anymore.
Dude, watch out.
Yeah,
we laugh at him because he's different. He laughs at us because we're all the same. Look out for that guy.
Which meanwhile, there were kids on my bus who were like actually like, you know, the qualification of like what we used to be like nerds, but we're for sure just like high level like autistic people who were bullied and were being called weird and had like, you know, just were truly, everyone were pieces of shit to them. And those people were like, I mean, they might as well, people like poured milk on it. You know, like it was like the beginning of American History X where you're like, dude, these two will and no one even like thought like, what are those fucking nerds going to do? And you're like, those are the two. Those are the people that shoot everybody up, you know?
Yeah, kids know better than anybody. That's what's nuts. It's like if you get a group of 30 children together, within an hour they'll all know which kid is the school shooter.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Do you
should
think they
let them
start
self-police this.
Did they factor that into like your book superlatives now? Like most likely to shoot up the fucking school.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah, most likely to go on Facebook Live and shoot up a sorority. Yeah, it's always just an Indian kid.
Oh, genocide's in here.
Oh, hell yeah. That's one of your mods, isn't it?
Yeah. My only mod.
Wait, Nat Rich said, I'm going to take it easy on Vegas. I don't like to party. But that's a mistake. You got to party.
No, that's gotta be a bit.
Nat, we're personally going to rent you a sumo suit to wear the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Nat, we're going to roll you into traffic in a sumo suit.
Yeah.
We're going to push you into crazy people.
Yeah, maybe I'll take it easy at Skankfest Vegas.
Yeah,
What do
me
you think of
too.
that?
Nah.
You know what I like about
You kid her?
the legend of Tim Butterly at the Skankfest Houston thing was so funny. Where it's like there was a time where it looked like you were basically like, you know, David Blaine 2 inches off the ground levitating around. The thing
That was
you
great.
at one point had like a disciple. You had like fans that were like diehards of you, like following you around, dude.
It was just like a smoke circle that was like moving around, I think.
I guess, but they were more just like, what do you need to, like, they were like, I felt like they were putting like something on the ground every step you took so that you wouldn't step in a puddle.
I would never treat someone like that. No, they were carrying me.
Yes,
is
that's
what they
true.
were doing. Yeah, actually, maybe I'll get an ornate like 4-dude throne.
That would be cool.
And I'll just get dudes to like shave their heads and wear like towels and just carry me everywhere.
You should
There
get
you go.
dancing American pallbearers.
Ooh, yeah, just dudes with like mullets and wraparounds and Zubas just like coughing, dancing me everywhere. That'd be pretty fucking sick. Yeah. I think there's gonna be a pussy mandate this year at Skankfest. I'm gonna be making sure, like, there's some squirrely motherfuckers that I hang with. I'm gonna be like, dudes, it's time to go away and find pussy right now. Everyone go scurry and get a girlfriend.
It feels like at Skankfest there is more women than you'd think if you've never been to Skankfest there, but I do feel like almost all of the women are like spoken for, right? I don't feel like there's a
Well, my
ton.
wife is. Don't make any mistakes there.
Yes. I do feel like there's a ton of non-single, either like couples that go there or women who are like, oh, I love like all these podcasts, but I'm like in a relationship, obviously. You know what I mean?
Well, the great thing about this Skankfest is prostitution is legal. So if you're a gentleman who might not feel comfortable speaking to ladies, you could always pay for a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. I know. I
It would
do.
be cool. You know how like sometimes you ever play like one of those arcade games where you're like a little ship like flying through and shooting everything, like R-Type or something like that, or like, and you can get one of those power-ups where it's just like a thing that circles around you.
Yeah.
That'd be great if like you could just like, make sure you always had a hooker around, so you could be like, this dude's not getting pussy, please.
Yeah.
You know
go
what I
to
mean?
him. Go to him.
Go break
to
him off.
Maybe we should start hooker security this year.
Oh, go on.
Like a security team just comprised of the nastiest hookers that we can find, where they will protect us, but also they'll dish out pussy as needed.
Oh,
Okay.
they're like a pussy shield.
Yeah, kind of like the pink cross, if you will. Like anybody who needs it, they can get aid.
Yeah.
Now this, I feel like it was pre-written. The pink cross.
No, I promise you it
too
wasn't.
good.
I promise you it wasn't.
Yeah.
Molly Toad said prostitution is not legal in Vegas.
Oh.
What's that about?
Where is the bunny ranch?
I think it's like in a dusty little outside the town.
Okay. Well, we'll find that place and we'll go there.
Dude, it's so weird though. With like, again, not to go back to like the Amsterdam thing, but like when my wife and I, we like walked past the red light district because we were like, oh, let's see what that's about, you know. And I don't know if you guys have been there, but it is a you know, you walk. It's first of all, it's very small. Like the area, the red light district it's like 3 blocks. It's very, very. I thought it was like all of Amsterdam. It's just a very small area, And then when you go there,
I thought all of Amsterdam was like ladies hanging out of buildings, like you.
No, dude. And here's the worst part about it, and weirdest. It's they basically are behind. They look like they're in a vending machine almost.
Right.
They're behind this glass.
You're putting your hand in.
Yeah.
It's stuck.
It's a different claw
Dude,
machine.
can you tilt
know?
it?
Yeah. And they're literally just like looking at you like you would look at a whale in a fucking zoo exhibit, and they're just like staring at you, and they're like trying to entice you in. And if you say yes, they like open the door, you go in, they pull the shade down, and then like right behind where they were standing is a door to just a mattress on the ground essentially. And then you fuck right there, and then you leave. And then the shade goes back up, and then it's just like, and we were watching it, and it was...
That's gotta be tough, saying hello to the sun again after fucking on the ground with a prostitute.
Dude, it is... First off, there were some, like, really insanely beautiful women that were prostitutes there, like, gorgeous. Like, my wife and I were like, my God, some of these women, like, some of them looked like exactly like Rihanna, where you were like, if they will come back to our room with us, like, but there's like, no, it has to happen right there in like a bed where like a 58-year-old Indian man just got out and he's sweating, and then she's like, you're next, and it's like it's not her that grosses me out, it's the men that were just inside of her. And then like,
it's like sitting on a warm toilet seat,
dude, and it's like, but if you saw the warm toilet seat was an old Indian man. and just seeing like, one dude was like, him and his boys were there, and he came out, and they were like, yeah, like they were all cheering for him, and he was young. But I was just thinking, these poor women, how many times a day for every hard-bodied 19-year-old looking to get fucked, it's like a smelly, BO'd, hairy, fucking, unbelievably unable to talk to people or have good sex with smelly balls. Just for every one of the hard bodies, there's got to be 150 awful fucks they have to go through. And that alone to me was like, I could never
man.
fucking go into one of those red light district booths and just be like, man,
like a gray-haired guy with like discolored shins.
yes, dude. And that's why they were like really enticing. They were like, and every time they see someone like me or like a younger person, they're like, come on, half off, like, just please let me fuck anything that isn't, if it's not you, it's gonna be the guy behind you with fucking dark blue blockers on who's fucking staring at me in the corner through his eyebrows the last half hour.
Tim, do you think it would be appropriate to refer to that lady as Rihanna?
I'd love for you to just throw your neck into the knife on one of them.
Fishtown Tom said Skankfest has to be about getting pussy for Blind Mike.
I will put $100
Jesse T
up
says,
for that.
I'm gonna start
that sounds
fund.
perfect.
I'm gonna be walking around with a hat to get Blind Mike pussy.
Let's get him the hottest prostitute we can find. All right, somebody clarified this, but apparently prostitution is legal in Nevada, but not Las Vegas.
Okay, so we're gonna have to drag him out to the desert.
I believe I remember this correctly. So
I get to push the saloon doors open. Dibs.
I get to push Mike's cheeks into the lady like Midsummer. I think it's Pahrump, Nevada, is where the Bunny Ranch is.
Pahrump?
Pahrump.
Huh.
Pahrump.
That does sound like a sound an annoyed prostitute would make in the 1930s.
Yeah.
All right, we were about to close up, but
These dehydrated hookers are tired.
Yeah.
Pahrump.
what do you think is the number one malady that hookers go to the nurse's office for?
The Bunny Ranch nurse's office.
Yeah,
not
like you got to go
a
see the madam, who's
urgent care.
also the nurse.
Oh boy. What's the opposite of the vapors? What's the dry pussy version of the vapors?
I don't know. What I mean, you would think it would be like some sort of STD or UTI or something,
Or like
right?
cocaine diarrhea or something. Yeah, I got a tummy ache from cocaine.
Wouldn't you take instead of microdosing, but like microdose with ecstasy if you were going to be a prostitute? That would really make it more palatable, wouldn't it?
Wow.
To just take a very small amount to be like, yeah, you know what? I can find something positive about his
Dude,
shitty
that's a great
dick.
idea.
Yeah.
You should propose that to them.
Yeah, I'm going to
Imagine
get
taking
all
so much
prostitutes.
ecstasy that you see like a big fat guy in sweatshorts walking toward you, and like he's got like white like New Balance sneakers on, tied really tight, and the outside edges are worn more than the insides, and you're just like, I'm ready to fuck.
Yeah, and he's just got He's got
biologically
stains on the gray sweatpants, and you
Oh,
could just
yeah.
the crotch is wearing out, and he's holding crumpled up bills. He's trying to flatten to pay you like a vending machine.
You're sucking the circulation back into his ankles.
Yeah.
He's wearing like a 4XL zip up Old Navy sweatshirt. And you're just like, damn, I'm a little bit wet.
He's got a big dog tank top on.
That's the way to do it, I suppose. But it's a brutal. I remember my grandfather was a police officer, and he would always be like, I respect prostitutes. You know, he's like, they have the hardest job. He goes, because it's like, they never know if they're going to be fucking beaten, murdered, raped. Like, it's just, I mean, they're literally
It's
just
like being a mailman.
Yeah, it's exactly like being a mailman. But it's a vulnerable act, you know? You're literally just offering up your body, being like, please just pleasure.
And then on top of that, you're still going like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretending, faking, and just...
Yeah, this guy could cut my head off, and I better fake a pretty good cum for him.
Do you think prostitutes normally go into a night saying like, okay, I'm going to make $400 and then I'm going home and ordering a pizza?
Oh, dude, they make way more than $400.
But I'm saying though, like, do you think that like to give yourself like
They set up
you know,
a finish line in their
a
heads.
refuge, like to be like, yes, if I'm making this amount and then I'm going home and that's it. But to me, like $400 would be a very good night.
What? $400 a good night for a prostitute all night?
For a day's work,
Not a
$400
hostess
is
at
a lot.
Outback.
Buddy, what are you giving 2-for-1 coupons out? you gotta be pulling in like two.
Mike's talking about streetwalkers.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
We're talking about brothel people.
I'm talking like no, I'm talking streetwalker. Yeah, even if it's like $50 for like a blowjob or whatever the fuck it is, you're turning out a lot on a given night. If you're making less than $1,000 a night, it's a terrible night, I think.
Wow.
Because also like, if not that, just be a stripper. Like I know like you ever see like these stripper videos on Instagram and stuff where people they're making like, some of them make like $10,000 a night.
They're
on
doing
the
side
weekend.
hustle videos
Yeah.
about stripping.
Yeah, legitimately.
Okay, so tonight I worked 4 hours and I got punched in the face twice, but I made $650.
It's crazy. And they at least they have security. They don't have to fuck anybody.
Were there any red light district windows with dudes in them? Or is it
Great
all
question.
ladies?
It was, here's the thing about the women too. A lot of them were very beautiful, and then like as you got closer and closer to them, the makeup and the surgeries became more apparent. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
man.
it's like when you go to see like a Broadway play and you see them in a distance and you're like, oh, they look beautiful, and you get closer and a lot of them were
Like,
like
oh, you've had an eye hernia.
shellacked, shellacked and just fucking like this, but like very like you can feel like your cheeks must feel like plastic.
That's
you
like
know?
that's like going on the SDR show.
Yeah, I mean it's truly a lot, but
if I
don't think I
went
saw
to
it.
Amsterdam and I saw a dude in a window, I'd probably get him to jerk me off.
I don't think I saw any. I'm sure there were, but I didn't see any men. But they were. It was.
I'm sure you could find one.
But a lot of the things too is like, what do you do if you're a prostitute in behind the glass? You're trying to get somebody in, and then they just fucking start jerking off in public. Like they could get arrested, but it's like, how many times a day does this a guy just have his hand in his pocket, just fucking, slapping his dick while he's looking at you directly in the eye, and you have to be like,
that's piracy.
come on, yes, dude. That's Lars Ulrich would sell.
He's
It would
illegally
sue
downloading
Metallica.
pussy.
You got to put an FBI warning in your window.
Yeah. Yeah, they would be. I guarantee that happens all the time.
Man.
Could you see yourself? So you're walking with your wife through red light district, right? You're seeing like, what was it, €50, like top level pussy, and then you see one where it's just a dude, and you're like, all right, well, this is pretty cheap. Do you mind if I let this dude jerk me off real quick? And then you get like,
Wouldn't you be worried
top
about
of
the
the game.
hands?
No, he's a gay prostitute.
You
He's
think he's lotioning up?
jerking dudes off all day. He's got to be among
But-
the best in the world.
Maybe, but I also think that there's a thing to the man who's looking for the certain type of blue collared hands to jerk him off.
Yeah, that's niche though, man. I think.
I don't know.
Like he'll probably wear a hard hat and like
Larry the Cable Guy.
Hey,
he's wearing cut off overalls, like real
Yeah.
short. And I gotta imagine that dude's giving you a pretty, like, yeah, it's all a show, dude. You're getting a high level jerk off. You're not getting, like, he's not putting dock worker hands on your penis.
Yeah. Yeah,
Although
guess.
I don't know, man. I've never been a gay guy. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they. I'm
Some,
thinking
perhaps.
it's like of Mice and Men, where he's got the glove full of Vaseline to keep his hand nice for you. Is that in Of Mice and Men, or did I make that up?
I don't think that's.
You're
what
thinking
Mice
of like
meant.
when he jerks him off with the dead puppy.
No.
I think you're thinking
I
of
think there's a guy-
an episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza wears them so he doesn't get his hands.
There's a
his
guy
hand
in Of
model.
Mice and Men who wears one work glove with Vaseline in it because he wants to keep his hand nice for his wife. I think, but I've never read the
Chat, look it up.
Chat.
We don't have
Back
a
me up
producer
on this.
today. Look it up.
I nail stuff like this all the time. I guarantee I'm right. Don't worry about it. They'll get back. They're like 15 seconds behind us. They'll figure it out. But yeah, so I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, the red light district was underwhelming though, as a whole.
Yeah.
It's underwhelming and disappointing, but the weed was fantastic there.
Is there a time where the prices turn, where it's like, all right, we're gonna be wrapping up this shit
Oh, I'm
soon.
sure the 4 a.m. shift is like the
Surge pricing.
one last. yeah. Oh, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe like 8 p.m. is
Nailed it.
Tim is
Ooh,
right.
Kenny, yes.
Wow.
He's got one soft hand. Kenny Wilson, way to go, baby.
Maybe it's maybe 8 p.m. is the cheap time, but then your first dip. So I don't know. I feel like if the sun is up, it's cheaper. I don't have any knowledge to back that up.
Perhaps a golden hour golden shower, Tim.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be good?
I love how much it annoys you. I can see a little bit of you, and I can see the joy that you take in each one. It's a very fun.
One of our goals,
symbiotic
Mike, is to
relationship.
make enough in Patreon so that like Tim's seat can like lower into the ground and go outside and do the rest of the podcast from behind the bay window.
Hell yeah.
He annoys me.
Yeah, it's strange though, man.
The rodeo gripped.
Look, these people all loved it. I was 100% right.
Wow.
Curly. I didn't remember his name.
Curly. Yeah, that was the one that was the one that shoots Lenny in the head, isn't it?
No,
I thought that was the one
no,
that Gary Sinise plays.
No, it's not Curly. His name is George.
George, Lenny and George. That's right.
Man.
I wonder, do you think there's like rough hands porn?
Rough hands.
100%.
You think anybody's got any rough hands for my penis? I don't know, Mike.
100%. dude.
Maybe.
There's a thing for everything, man.
No, gay porn is way too tender, man. I was just talking about this last week. Or
Debbie does
2
callus.
days ago.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was great.
Debbie does callus.
Fun.
Tell your story, please.
I mean, my thing is like I'm trying to think about how your brain is. Like, are you sitting there going like hands, hard, callous? What rhymes with callous? Callous, Dallas. Debbie does callous, and then saying it,
Mike,
or is it?
Pretty much.
I think it's entirely attributable to a severe concussion I had when I was 12.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Mike hit his head on a door jamb watching Pee-wee's Playhouse, and that's just locked his personality in place for the rest. He's fossilized his brain.
Wow.
Oh, after lunch is the time to go. No one wants to fuck, just nap. That's a good.
Oh, wow. I wonder if I contacted a bunch of prostitutes if I could find out the do's and don'ts and the ins and outs and what they prefer, what their biggest gripes are.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's.
This just sounds like the beginning of a transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have
I
sex.
wonder if I could
before
just call a
leave.
mechanic and find out like how much an oil change costs and what their address is.
Can I pay you to just talk for a while?
Do you think a prostitute would do that if you're just like, look, I don't want to have sex. I just want to find out about your occupation. Do you think they would be patient and take the time to do that
If
with
you
you?
pay them, I think they would. Although I think they would think you're a cop or something, you know.
Yeah.
And you do have like cop.
Oh,
You have
thank
cop energy. You know what I mean? Like
Oh.
people would be like,
Thank
"That
you.
guy's a cop." You know, like he's. I feel like if I was a prostitute, I'd be very wary to let you into the details
Mike,
of my business.
Thank you.
I would not get in your Chrysler 300. if I
Oh
was a
my god,
prostitute,
dude, I wouldn't
man.
let you in my Chrysler 300, dude. You could fucking ride the bumper on your skateboard.
Damn, dude. You're gonna talk to me like that wearing fucking shell tops in 2022? You're gonna talk to me like that wearing dirty shell tops that I know got dirty at a Deftones show in 2022?
They did not. I had my boots on.
Your stomping boots?
His
Did you go
locks.
in the pit?
I did. That's why I wore my boots, Mike.
Hell yeah.
Did you mosh?
Yeah.
No way,
Got a mosh.
dude.
Got a mosh.
How did you not get Jamie to record you in the pit?
She, as soon as we got there,
What's your move in the pit?
I just mix it up, baby.
You shover?
I am a shover. There was a little person in the pit.
Yes.
There was a bunch of ladies and a little man.
You were in the girl pit.
No,
That's like a separate from the real pit.
it is not.
Yeah, right.
Times have changed, buddy. I don't know
No
when the last
way.
pit you've been in
Dude,
is.
pits are
Bro, I got to see Fat Girl Mosh 2 weeks ago. Don't tell me.
pits are
Where'd you go,
like,
Chuck E. Cheese?
although there's violence, pits are quite a lovely place for the people in
People
the
are
pit.
nice.
I was at Lewis and I went to a Glassjaw show a few last month, I guess, or maybe the month before, which is just a Long Island hardcore band that did like a 20-year, like, we're just gonna play our best
hits.
album. No, just we're playing our most popular album from beginning to end.
Oh,
That's
good.
it. And they came out and like we were in the pit, and then at one point I was like at that front of the pit that was facing the stage with my back to the pit, which is always just like the danger zone. And this dude next to me picks up a phone and he like holds up a phone, like he found a phone, like anybody's phone, and he's holding it up and he just goes, all right. And then he goes into their phone, takes out the video and starts filming the show for whoever this is.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going back towards the other side of the pit, and I see a woman looking for her phone, and I go, are you looking for your phone? And I go, that guy has it. And she goes up and he's like, here's your phone. And I recorded the last two songs for
that's
you. And
sweet.
she was like, oh my God. Like, this is so
That is
nice.
lovely. Damn.
Yeah, it was that on Saturday night in Asbury Park for Deftones. People were very nice. A couple lost
Because
phones.
we're all older too. That's the
That
other
does
thing.
make a big difference because I remember the worst one that I've been in was Veterans Stadium. It was Metallica, Deftones, and Limp Bizkit.
Wow.
And,
That's a fucking bill
Yeah, it
right
was a
there,
real
dude.
murderer's row. I got a lady threatened to punch me in the face there.
So, was that involving a pizza?
No. That was just her skipping the line, and I told her she wasn't hot. And she came up to me. She's like, I ought to punch you in your fucking face.
Metallica's on my bucket list to see. I was supposed to
Oh, they
see
were
them.
terrific.
I was supposed to see them. I had tickets to go see them and Foo Fighters, and then the COVID stopped Metallica, and then Taylor Hawkins died in Foo Fighters. I was at
You know what? Everyone's sad about Taylor Hawkins died, but I think something needed to happen for the Foo Fighters to stop.
oh, you're anti Foo Fighters.
They've only gotten like gayer and gayer. I think
Their new stuff
him
is not
dying
as
was
great.
the best stuff, the best thing that could have happened for Foo Fighters fans.
But he was such a heart of the band, though.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
had to happen. Otherwise, they would have never stopped.
Okay. I mean, Dave Grohl's never stopping. They're eventually going to get another drummer. I mean, that's just going to be what it is,
Man,
which sucks. But, however, I was at a.
Hopefully they don't.
I used to go to Ozfest every year and all that stuff, and Hatebreed was definitely one of the worst like mosh pits I've ever been, where people are just literally looking
that's
to
the
square off.
Hatebreed is the Super Bowl of moshing.
Yeah, it is just. It's not even moshing. It's just like fighting, like punching
Well,
and
when
fighting.
you say moshing, that's what I picture is Hatebreed.
Yeah, it's brutal. And then
Dudes just like two-stepping, but throwing their hands hard enough to like break someone's nose on purpose.
And all those dudes are like constantly, they're trying to break out of the habit of like trying to calculate how many yards they have to be away from a lady.
yeah,
So they get in there, they're
yeah.
just like, I don't have to be any yards away from anybody in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't wait to
You're gonna
punch.
pay for this.
Yeah, and we were. I told a story on
They're
ours.
doing like spin kicks and shit.
Oh, I was a big spin kicker, but an eagle kick perhaps. But oh yeah, dude, I would scare the shit. Like I went to System of a Down, and people were like terrified of me because everybody was like football bodies, and they just were like push, and then you push me, and I push, and I was coming in with Long Island hardcore, like fucking swinging back, just like I
Yeah.
would leave with like swollen hands and just fucking not even because I'm bony as shit. So like
Yeah.
I don't have a powerful punch, but if I get you, I'm fucking lacerating you, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were at a Ozfest, and in between bands, it was so hot in Randall's Island. It was like August. Everyone was throwing plastic bottles and just fucking doinking them off people's heads, and I got hit because I was tall. So naturally, as progression goes, I go, I have to hit somebody. So I like picked up one of the plastic bottles, and I jumped and tried to like fucking launch it, and it went like 8 people in front of me, and like the cap went right off this dude's head with
It hit a
long
bunch of
hair.
seamless web drivers.
yeah. Oh god, if only. But it smashed this dude, and I saw it hit him so hard that I went, oh fuck, and I ducked down, and my buddy, I go, did he see me? And my buddy was staring. My buddy was staring straight
Put
ahead.
you on his shoulders.
Yeah.
It was like Dumb and Dumber. He's like,
Dude, it felt like a scene like that because I threw it and then ducked out. And again, there's like thousands of people. Bottles are coming from everywhere. I'm like, this guy really is never going to see me. But I'm like, let me duck down. I ducked down. I looked at my friend. I go, did he see me? And he's staring straight ahead going, I think so. And I like peek. This dude is like a rhino. He's just barreling through the crowd, making a direct line to me. 3 times my size, and he fucking
Sauron. He's like
dude
knocking people
dude,
side to side.
He was like a snowplow. Like people just fucking, and he grabbed my fucking shirt, and the infamous line I've
Kissed
always
me
said,
deeply.
yeah, made sweet, sweet love to me under the Ozfest sky, and he said. He goes, I will take your fucking skull, is what he said. And it was the scariest. And I was like, yes, sir. I'm sorry. Like, it was the scariest moment I've ever.
I do like when a band gets heavy enough that like the tallest, like thickest dude is like, I am pretty much a Viking, basically. I'm a berserker. I'll kill everybody. It's
take
like,
my
all right,
skull.
dude,
Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Like, dude, you work in construction. Chill out. You're not going to fucking do anything.
Yeah. It was brutal.
Yeah, maybe you'll sucker punch somebody and put him in the hospital, but like, chill out.
I've seen a dude get his fucking thumb shattered, and like a drummer threw a drumstick, and he like grabbed it and was like, "I got it," and then someone else tried to grab it from him, and just went, and I just watched his thumb be like, "Ah!" Like he's like trembling in the first. It was like
shrieks.
It was 1 p.m. on the Ozfest day, where it goes all the way till midnight. It was like he was definitely his first or second band.
So he's watching like a local band on like a side stage.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I got a drumstick from a drummer.
Yeah.
Snap. Oh. Nah. Meanwhile, his girlfriend's fucking cheating on him. He's getting fucking parking lot dust in his sinuses. He's like a first responder for the rest of his life. It fucking sucks.
Yeah. Mosh pits were so fun though.
Let me check. You might be running out of time for your next stop here. Let me check.
Oh, right.
Our time.
I forgot I got to do that.
Go on without me.
I got to do a show at Helium.
Start wrapping this up soon.
And then what was the other thing too? There was so many fucking mosh pit stories, dude, of just fighting. My favorite one was like I went to go see Poison the Well. Poison the Well, and I think it was As I Lay Dying with my college roommates. I remember saying goodbye to my roommates before going in the pit because it looked like a washing machine of fists, and we were just like, I'll see you, man. And my buddy got fucking knocked down in the pit, and everybody always like, you reach up, people always go, hey, pick the guy up. And dude, I remember this kid, my buddy got knocked down, and he tried to like reach up for somebody, and somebody just went bam and just fucking cracked him in the face. And then somebody else took one of his shoes, just one, took it off and just threw it into the crowd somewhere. And so we had to take like a train back up to college, and we were in like Times Square, and he had one shoe on, and then he got so mad, and he was like swollen, and his face hurt, and he was like having a terrible time, and it had just rained, so the ground is soaking wet. He had one shoe, and he just was like, and he just threw the second shoe and just walked in socks back to fucking Grand Central, and then we took a train all the way up, and we laughed at him for months because of it.
I will take your fucking shoe.
That's one of my few remaining like fond memories of like Warped Tour. It was like seeing a shoe on the ground and it's anyone just getting to it as fast as you could and throwing it as far as you can.
Yeah.
Anytime someone's like big puffy like Etnies fell off,
later. The Etnies, wow.
You're going home with one shoe at most.
That was a whole style.
Yeah. But those people were all either getting picked up by their parents or their girlfriend's parents. So
I know that's a misspelling, but Limo Biscuit sounds so much cooler than Limp Bizkit.
Dude.
That would be a fun way to go see that concert.
I heard that they're rocking now. Dude.
Oh yeah, they look like it.
Because they play like 2 songs and then they just play the hits. They play 2 new shit, and what's crazy is they were supposed to play like Gramercy, which is like a very small venue before the pandemic, and then I guess they like blew up during the pandemic, and then they played
we had to reschedule for Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, which was crazy.
It was basically the same thing.
But they sold. I don't think they like came close to selling out Madison Square Garden. They played like half of they like close off everything behind the stage and stuff. But yeah. My buddy got to go on stage with them because he was like, Fred Durst found him via TikTok because he does like, he's a comic, but he does like stupid like public dancing videos to like in front of strangers who are like, what the fuck are you doing? And so Fred Durst was like, oh man, I like your stuff. Like, come do your thing at my show, man. So he was on stage at Madison Square Garden fucking dancing with him, and then
he gave him the golden flat brim.
He did, yeah. Then he just slowly puts on and then rotates backwards, and so he got to like hang out. He was like hanging out in the green room with Fred Durst, and then he was like, dude, you're doing a show, like you work at the Comedy Cellar, I'd love to come see it. And then he tried to come see it, and the Comedy Cellar didn't. They were like, we're sold out. And he's like, I know. It's like, it's my buddy like Fred Durst, like, can I get him in? And they're like, no. And he's
Oh
like,
my God.
he's like, but Fred Durst, like, he's a rock star. And they're like, yeah, we don't. He's like, it'll be good for the club. And he's like, every show is sold out. We don't care, you know. And they go, can we put? He's like, we'll put you on the wait list, but you have to like wait in the
Oh my
line with
God.
the audience. And he's like, can he
Yeah.
sit with the comics? And they were like, no. And it's just this fucking big time Fred Durst. And apparently he was super like, he like took a
fucked up.
cab all the way from Midtown down to the Cellar, couldn't get in, and it was just like, all right, I appreciate it, thanks for trying, and just left. He was super cool about it,
Oh,
but
that bums me out, man.
it really bummed me out because I was like, man, I was on that show and I would have met Fred Durst, and I was like, fucking goddamn it, I could have met Fred Durst, but wasn't meant to be.
You'll meet him.
I think I will.
Don't let that die.
I've met a lot of people, and I'm like, I never thought here we would be. You know, it's very strange when you do podcast, especially the music crossover. That's what's crazy to me in comedy. It's like the music where you're like, I'm hanging out with. Like even when we would when we saw Glass Show, it was like there was like, or Taking Back Sunday, it was like
Weren't they from Long Island?
They're yeah, and I was gonna say auditioned. I interviewed them for a podcast, and I remember being like for SDR actually, and I remember being like,
You
This
guys
is-
remember when you
yeah,
said,
dude, it was literally like the Chris Farley
oh.
show. It was that embarrassing. I had so many questions. I was like, I can't tell you how big you are. Like you shaped so much of like my adolescence with everyone around. I've drove to Albany to see you before. Like it's fucking great. And now I'm interviewing you. It's nuts.
Yeah, I saw them a bunch too. But
I feel like you'd really have some mean things to say about them.
who, Taking Back Sunday?
Yeah.
No, I can't pretend that I was above them when they were in their heyday.
Oh,
I
okay.
I liked them a lot when I was that age.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Considering
Yeah.
your constant thrice slander. I thought I would think that
Dude, Taking
they're
Back
way
Sunday and
softer
Thrice
than
are-
thrice.
It's not about hardness.
I don't
It's
think you know
not-
Thrice. I
I-
think you only
I've
know the artist in the
listened
ambulance. You
to enough Thrice to understand that they want to be seen as like a certain level of like heaviness, and it's like an uncanny valley.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know what? You're gonna have to dig up the Twitch archives because I laid this all out. I'll never be able to get back to the argument I made against Thrice.
You said no. I remember specifically what you said.
What I say?
You said they were girlfriend rock, or that like
Okay.
which is so wrong. That's like what like
The same way that like From Autumn to Ashes is girlfriend metal, Thrice is like girlfriend post-punk hard.
I can't believe you. Yeah, no, you can't.
All right.
We can't. There's not enough time. We don't have enough time to rehash the criminal nature of the things you just said. You didn't even throw in the From Autumn to Ashes slander, which also is a Long Island hardcore band. Legends.
Hardcore. All right. We got places to be. We'll continue this.
Yeah.
Come back as soon as you can.
I would love to be back.
And,
Thank you for having me, boys. This is fun.
absolutely.
You're always welcome, Mike. Anytime you
Yeah.
ever come back, please come back.
Anytime you can make time. You saw it wasn't that far to get down here.
No,
Barely even a hop, skip, and a jump.
we're hanging.
This
Do
was
it
so
on
nice to
Sunday?
do during the day too.
I think we should get off a Sunday night. I think we should get daytime during the week.
I would be up for
What do
that.
you think about that?
I would be up for that. Even though I just told somebody we're not replacing it, I would be up for doing this during the daytime.
Yeah, I think it's time to gear up for some changes.
I mean, we can't go past the Mike's favorite band is Taking Back Pun Day, and his favorite rapper is Big Pun. I mean,
Man,
there we
oh
go.
my
You're the
God,
fucking best.
dude,
There
this
we go.
podcast is getting away
John
from me.
Cusick, yes,
is great.
I love you guys.
God damn it! All right, we'll see you fucking dickheads later on. Thank you so much
3
for being
puns
with
down.
us.
Jesus, Katie. Thank
My-
you.
yeah, everybody shut the fuck up. Stop it.
Oh, Big Pun does rip. Did you ever see the video of Big Pun threatening his wife with an Uzi?
No,
Yeah, it's his own home security footage where he's just threatening his wife from the bottom of the stairs with an Uzi.
fun.
Great. Well, see you guys later.
All right, love you guys.